Hello and welcome to Universal Studios Hollywood. It is nearing the end of October and we have a lot of things to look at, from Super Nintendo World to a brand new store. So much to look at, let's check it out. But before even heading in the park, there's a little bit to look at CityWalk, so let's check that out first. Okay, and here we are at Universal CityWalk Hollywood for a couple updates. Starting with the Twosome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feats Kitchen, where the biggest news is not here on the front of the building, but it's the fact that Universal has released concept art, so we now know exactly what this is going to look like. That actually helps us a lot looking at construction, because we can see, for example, right here in front of us, what the scenic element's going to look like, or that we're getting some more on the roof, or the big scenic element in front is going to be the logo plaque. The spire has been added to the top of the dome. Here's a look at it from the ET parking structure. And we can start to see some removal of construction equipment here from the west side of the building. And it looks like there's going to be something added right here. I'm not quite sure. And here's a look at the front of the building, where you can see on this side the fence are painting black, but on the other side they are not painted at all. And based on recent hirings, it does look like they're staffing up the restaurant already. I still think it's going to open before the end of this year. This, of course, is part of a huge CityWalk enhancement, including over here in Five Towers where the screen is missing. Not just that going on, but over here on the right side, the Halloween store has been renamed to Every Day is Halloween, making me think that maybe this is a permanent store. And I know it does say Halloween Horror Nights on it, but who knows? It could still be a year-round thing. And speaking of permanent additions to CityWalk, right in front of the Twosome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen is soon to be Celebrity Authentics, which is going to have autographed collectibles from different celebrities. This is such a Universal Studios Hollywood perfect store, because this is the only theme park in LA proper. The directory has been changed to include Twosome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen coming soon, Celebrity Authentics coming soon, and the all-new Super Nintendo World store, which we're going to check out in a second. The fountains in front of Abercrombie & Fitch have been covered up, but it doesn't look like they are running yet, as indicated by all the tape marks on all of them. And our last update here on CityWalk is the Super Nintendo World store right behind me has officially opened. Let's take a peek inside. Let's head back to Jake. Okay, now let's head in the park. And first one in the park, it does look like they're going to be rope dropping us again, likely for 15-20 minutes. But because of the events of this week, I think that it's only best that I start out today heading into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. So here in the Wizarding World, I have to start my day out going on both Wizarding World attractions. The entire Wizarding World was sad that Robbie Coltrane passed away this week. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and in memory of Robbie, I will be starting the day with Harry Potter and the Flight of the Hippogriff, and then immediately after doing Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. And remember, while Robbie is gone, Hagrid will live on forever. Starting today with Flight of the Hippogriff, because there doesn't seem to be anyone in line.
Go on then!
Now that was a great way to begin a day, and the park's only been open for 6 minutes, so we have a lot to do and we have a lot to check out construction-wise, so let's head further into the park. And we're going to head down to Springfield, USA. Now, I know there is a piece of concept art that appears to be floating around about something going on here. As I said last week on the channel, I will not be talking about anything that Universal has not announced. This is for a project that may or may not be being built. In fact, the permits have actually been rescinded by Universal, so it might not be being built. And I think it's time to check out the studio tour.
Heading into the lower lot, here's our look at Super Nintendo World. At the bottom of the hill, here's our look at the building taking up the former commissary area, which is right next to the Universal Creative Campus, which is getting much bigger. Of course, we get a much better look at the partial exterior section of Super Nintendo World, believed to be part of the queue for Mario Kart, and across from Killer Clowns from Outer Space is Stage 16, which is getting a new paint job. In Kong 360 3D, all the cars were moving except for ours, as our motion base was broken. The first time that's ever happened to me, giving us a whole new perspective and a much smoother ride. We did skip through 6 Points, Texas again, and by driving by it, we can see the dirt's been cleared from the set. But there are still some production vehicles indicating that something was just filmed or is going to be filmed this week. There are a lot of signs around the backlot with the acronym BOATS, likely a fake production name for a secret project. From Little Europe, here's our look at the back sound stages, and the Jaws Lake was completely drained this week, giving us a fantastic look into the mechanics of the timeless attraction. Approaching the Bates Motel, here's a look at the daytime Terror Tram maze, and Norman Bates had some fun with me outside the Psycho House. In the War of the Worlds set, I never noticed the Uber sticker on this car. I don't think Uber even existed when War of the Worlds was being filmed. Passing the parking garage, it looks like the metal covering has extended nearly the entire length of the garage, with the exception of the staircase on the far left. And as always leaving the studio tour, I hope you are having a tram-tastic day.
Okay, in full disclosure, I actually did film that yesterday just to save a little bit of time today in the edit process. But now we're going to head to the lower lot because we have a lot of stuff to check out. From Super Nintendo World to the Creative Campus, so much stuff. Okay, and here from the top of the Starway, we have a lot to talk about. Starting with Super Nintendo World, the warp pipe seems to be a little bit brighter this week, and the sign is covered up, making me think they're going to start to paint this very soon. Peach's Castle has been revealed. We'll get a much better look at this from the former smoking section. A little bit next to Peach's Castle, the 1-Up Factory sign has been revealed. This will be the exit gift shop for the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge attraction. Right in front of Bowser's Castle, that structural steel is likely going to be theming for the quick service restaurant themed to Toad. And to the left and right of Bowser's Castle, we have some new steelwork. Not quite sure what these pylons are. Looking at Mount Beanpole, we now have 2 new trees that have been added, one next to Yoshi and one next to the Koopa. Turning to the right of Super Nintendo World, we do have the facade of Transformers The Ride 3D, which has been fully revealed. And far to the right of Super Nintendo World, we do have some sound stages that are being painted, but they are doing this on all of the sound stages in the lower lot. To the left of the Super Nintendo World, we have the building that is taking up the former commissary area, which looks even bigger, but we'll get a look at this and the new creative campus from the former smoking section as well. Okay, let's head into the lower lot. At Jurassic World The Ride, based on the fact that the water isn't moving right now, and I don't see any cars coming, I'm gonna guess that it's closed. And it looks like they do have a delayed opening. Heading into the character shop featuring Super Nintendo World, I am curious to see if any of the new items are here, and it looks like they are, including this warp pipe pen holder, this lamp, which has the question mark blocks, and this piranha plant lamp, which you can bend to make it look however you want. They also have so many more plushies in the store. Now this is a fantastic shirt. I wonder why I like it so much. While the attraction is closed, Dino Play is open, and in here is where we can see the Koopa. And there's our Koopa covered up and not moving. Now heading into the Mummy, very excited, doing single rider for this. And the single rider for this attraction is really unmarked. So unless you know that it exists, my guess is single rider is going to be a very short line. But it looks like I didn't even need to do single rider today because the regular queue is so short. And leaving the Mummy, it's 10 a.m. I've definitely taken my time this morning, but I've already done 3 attractions in an hour, and I would say 2 of them are e-tickets. So get here early, you can do a lot of stuff. And here from behind the Transformers and Mummy show buildings, let's take a look at the Super Nintendo World Warp Pipe. which looks about the same as it does last week, although the brickwork behind it has gotten a little bit more detailed, and it looks like the warp pipe itself has been covered in some sort of layer of concrete, maybe. I'm not quite sure if this is going to be the final material that's put on top and it's just going to be painted, or whether there's going to be something placed on top of it. And let's look a little bit closer at the Transformers The Ride 3D mural, where you can see the fading on the figures, but the beautiful vibrancy of the backdrop. Here's a look at the warp pipe from the Transformers The Ride 3D merge area, and for the first time above, we can see the flag for Peach's Castle. Very exciting. And on that note, that's basically everything we have to look at on the lower lot, so let's teleport to the upper lot to check on Super Nintendo World and a lot of other things. Okay, and here we are in the upper lot, and right across from me is Cocina Mexicana, and I need to point this out because it looks like they already started putting up Grinchmas lighting. Let me know if that's what you guys are seeing, because it's certainly what I'm seeing here. Okay, here on the Parisian Street, I do have to admit when I make mistakes, and I did make one last week, which, as I said, the Chupacabra t-shirt was from the Fiesta del Chupacabra, which is in Florida. They do still have that in Horror Nights in Florida, but it is the exact same design as the Chupacabra here in the Parisian streets. This is part of the El Pueblo del Terror scare zone. But that being said, let's head into the former smoking section to check on some Super Nintendo World and lower lot construction. And here from the top of the former smoking section, here's our look at Super Nintendo World. Our view was actually a little bit better from the Starway, but let's zoom in and see what we can see. Starting with, of course, Peach's Castle. This is definitely our best look at a completed Peach's Castle. Now, there is still a little bit of paint work to be done. I don't know if that's prefabbed pieces that are going to be installed or whether they're just painting the exterior. Unfortunately, you can't really see the full one-up factory side, which again is the exit gift shop for the Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge attraction, but here's what you can see. Here's also a look at the structural steelwork outside of the Toad-themed quick service restaurant. And next to Super Nintendo World is our look at the former commissary area. Whatever building that's going to be has just gotten huge. It's gotten like almost unmanageably huge, way, way, way bigger than the single-story building that used to exist at this location. Now, going to the left of that even more is the creative campus, where we can see a lot of work being done on the roof, or maybe that's a top floor. I'm not 100% sure. Whatever it is, they're doing a lot of work on it. Now, every time I leave the former smoking section, I do have to say, do not smoke. It kills you. And now let's head into Secret Life of Pets Off the Leash. Leaving Secret Life Pets Off the Leash, I'm very surprised by all of the holiday decor that is up in Pet's Place. Not just up on the buildings, the holiday decorations do look good, but they're also up by Despicable Me Minion Mayhem there surrounding the top of it. These are our first lights coming up in the park, and they're likely going to be a lot more to follow. I also wanted to come into the Universal Studio Store to check out some merch, including what appears to be a new shirt to me, I'm the Tree, for Halloween Horror Nights. I also don't know if these figures are new, but they're at least new to me. These are all for the classic Universal monsters. And right across from them are figures of Dracula with the Universal Monsters branding, along with the Wolfman and the Mummy. With the Terror Tram and Jupiter's Claim merchandise, this is a new shirt, at least to me, the Copperpot's Cove. Here inside the Super Nintendo World section of the studio tour, here is where you can find some of that new merch, including a warp pipe pen holder, the lights that we saw in the other store, and interestingly enough, RC Mario Racers. Really cool, from Mario Kart. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for joining this one, and I will see you guys in the next one.